send letters to WASA, send letters to the RIC, to the Diego Martin Regional Corporation.
Regulated Industries Commission.
Correct. The Member of Parliament, and to date, no response. 28 residents signed up the petition and sent this in. They're still waiting on this response. WASA, I don't know. They got help, and as you know, this country, if you know somebody on the inside, you could go and you could beg and you could ask, and they will make sure things happen. But why that have to be done? Why it is that a supervisor have to call the man who opening valve 1 to make sure he open valve 1, and then call the man opening valve 2 to make sure he open valve 2, and so on and so on to make sure that the water gets to these people. This is madness. And this going on, as I say, since 2016 when Mr. Hooker, what Mr. Hooker was doing different so that the water would come regularly, and then all of a sudden he died, so that was the end of that. So it's just bad management.
Do you know how he died?
He was murdered. Maybe that's because he was doing his job. Sorry to say. But it's very sad. And going on to Ridge Plain have other issues other than the water. The garbage, well, all over Trinidad there's a garbage and road. The road's very bad. I also heard that they have a serious rat infestation because of the garbage not picking up on time. And snails, the African snail.
Akil Camps, I want to say to you this morning that you are lying on the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin West, Keith Rowley, a man of such character. He's there 32 years. The people have been voting him in every single time. You have to be lying. They don't have rats and roaches in Rich Plain. They have more water than they need. Come on, tell me the truth. Be honest.
Well. Sorry for lying, but let's go Belmont now. What about Belmont? What about the garbage issues?
So you let Rowley off the hook? You're gone by Imbert.
Wait.
Who's your member of Parliament?
Stop everything.
Stuarty boy?
Yes.
Nah.
You're assassinating characters now.
We have to share the blame, right? Belmont, parking, garbage, right? I mean, we walk around in Belmont for the local election, right? And we saw it for ourselves. There's so much empty lots in those small lanes in Belmont. The government could go to find these owners, acquire the lots, develop them so they could hold maybe 10, 15 cars, right? Organize the people who using that car park to see about it, make sure it's clean, and still have oversight on it, right? And sort out the houses that don't have parking. They have a sign spot.
Why? When Furnace could put up 1,000 car park on the corner of Independence Square, you taking up money in Belmont to finance the PNM? No, you damn fast want to ask them.
I wouldn't mind parking in Tong, and then if it had a reliable transport service to drop me home in Belmont, I would park in Tong.
For the people who don't understand sarcasm, I want you all to know I've been extremely sarcastic. I have lived in Diego Martin for more than half of my life, Diego Martin West. And I'll tell Trinidad and Tobago something. Keith Rowley is a failure. And my campaign in 2015, I said, if this man can't run one constituency, how you expect him to run a whole country? And so said, so done.
Why it is every time you're looking at drain, it have silt, it have rubble, it have bush growing up on the side. Why? It have people being paid to clean these drains. Belmont, we see it after it flood. Every year it's flood. Yeah. But people is talking like if it's something new. It's nothing new. It's every year Belmont Valley Road flooding. Every year people have pictures showing going back years. Why they can't solve that problem? And when I walk and look at
because they're voting PNM.
Oh gosh, why we can't put our government in place that will see about these drains, clear these drains, make sure when it rains.
Because UNC didn't clear Orapuch East and Orapuch West. PNM and UNC is two sides of the same corrupt, racist, incompetent, dysfunctional, manifestly failed coin. Trinidad and Tobago needs something new, something real, and you ought to be able to stand up and you ought to be able to say that. Because without a real government, with a real plan that will decentralize the responsibilities of all of these things that you're talking about back to the constituency, we're going nowhere. These governments use the people's needs as a means and a mechanism to finance the criminal enrichment of financiers and party members. If we did a proper audit of this country's economy, going back 20 years, you will jail prime ministers. This is a corrupt country. Nothing that has been done in the interest of the people, were it not beneficial to people financially first.
And it goes to show, I mean, the issues we are speaking of here, it goes to show the lack of representation, north, south, east, west, everywhere. Because these members of parliament have to know these issues that people are experiencing. And it's reoccurring issues. It's not new issues. It's flooding, it's water. It's the same thing over and over again. And why isn't someone doing something for the citizens of this country? Why are we still talking about basic infrastructure necessities that a citizen is entitled to? We are paying taxes for this. We are paying taxes to fix the road. We are paying a WASA bill. Only in Trinidad do you get billed for service not received. Right now, my telephone service, I won't name the company, the internet is not working. They sell it because they know down there you're not going to get the service, and they still continue to bill it $326 a month for no service.
But a lot of the MPs too, some of them don't live in the area to know exactly what's going on. I heard Dillon is the MP for Point Fortin, is it?
Yes.
But I don't think he lives there.
Barry Padera don't live in the area he's the MP for. It's all foolishness.
Yeah, so they wouldn't
It's
know what
foolishness.
is going on.
And I want Trinidad and Tobago to understand. You have to take the posture that red crapo, yellow crapo, same handful of salt. This is a wealthy country pregnant with potential. We talk about things, Akil.
Yeah.
I had proposed in 2015 that we build a marine university in Chagaramas where these jackasses come and build this water park. If we had built a marine university and trained these unemployed people, give them hope and opportunity. Do you understand? Does Trinidad understand that we, because we are outside of the hurricane belt, that this country is perfectly poised to take advantage, to be the dominant player in the marine craft industry? That if we had invested in our human resource and offered support to entrepreneurs from Mova, Bitam, Lavatel, Sealots, Bagatelle, Rich Plain, Covine, Waterhole, Cocorit, Hardin Place, Abipujat, Beggar and Scorpion, Patna. If we had given these people a chance to send their children, even you, me, grown-ups, if you knew that you could get into a whole new career, shipbuilding, boat building, sail rigging, engineering, marine engineering, you could have cornered the market. We could have been earning billions of dollars, and some of these same people who suffering and living under a 10 days work right now could be employers of other people today.
And Philip, there's also an opportunity for dry docking. Dry docking for the cruise lines is billions of US dollars. I mean, I just had a friend text me last night in Bahamas. They facilitate half of Carnival's fleet in dry docking, and it's billions of dollars to refurbish the ships.
Do you know why the United States built a base at Chagaramas?
Well, I think I was told it was for security. For security.
Macarip is a natural deep water harbor.
Yeah.
Macarip could be, and Chagaramas for ecotourism, cruise ship ecotourism, Macarip and Chagaramas, you could have used just there without interfering with the rest of the country. Just there, we could have been bringing tourists. Akil, these are the constituencies that falling under your team now, the North Hub.
Correct.
The issues that affect St. Joseph, jobs. There are places in St. Joseph, there's a place, I can't remember the name, that they had set up under the UNC. There was a next voter bank. There's a squatter community. Bangladesh. Real pressure inside of there. Real suffering. People with no representation.
Correct.
The UNC and PNM sent Ian Allen and Terrence de Alsing as their choices. That is like choosing between cancer and a heart attack.
It's not easy. It's not easy what's going on in this country. And you know what it resorting to? I remember years ago, I used to worry about leaving my bike in the yard, or you'd worry about your battery in your car. People might pass and steal your battery. And then after a while, that stopped. Nobody was thieving battery again, or coming in the yard and thief your hose and that kind of thing. But it's starting back. I recently heard in Diamond Vale, they have people, I mean, they riding around, they scoops in your houses, and the petty theft has build back. It's there
Man
again.
must eat.
Exactly. But
Man
why-
must eat.
Why?
If there's nowhere for you to go, if there's nobody for you to turn to, if you are one of the 7,000 who failed out of the education system at one of these failures, and you come out and there is nowhere for you to turn, what do you do?
Exactly.
Do you kill yourself?
Exactly. And we can't.
I'm asking, do you kill
You have to
yourself?
survive. Survival.
Do
know what have
you
to-
break in an agriculture store and thief a bottle of Gramazone and drink it and dead? How do you live? Social development and management in this country is you want a food card, take off your clothes, or show me who you're voting for, or both.
It's madness.
It is
madness.
unacceptable.
And this is why.
It is unacceptable. The PNM and the UNC are criminally corrupt, are morbidly dysfunctional, have left people in this country with choices like ride around on a bicycle and scopes your house to thief your car battery to be able to eat.
You understand?
And the people who buy in stolen car battery, what's their situation too? All of these are issues, all of these are questions. Where are the people to turn if your choice is cancer and a heart attack? And I want Trinidadians to come out, challenge me. Philip, you're talking a crocus bagabas. Come out. Come and have a conversation. I will talk till 1 hour we can't talk no more. And out of that conversation, one of two things will happen. You will know better, or we will just can't do better.
Correct. Correct. Now imagine if this is why I like our policies. If we could give everybody an opportunity to have a job, right? It might be low income. With that low income, we could give them the opportunity to own a house, right?
But
All
Akil, it
these
doesn't
things
have to
working
be low
hand in hand, you know.
income. We have ambassadors and high commissioners all over the world drawing big fat salaries. We just spent $25 million fixing up an embassy, Tony. Somewhere in the world, we spent about $25 million for some promo girl that Rowley sent there as a high commissioner or ambassador. I took it plain this morning. Because all these people have no job, they have no responsibility, they have no reason for a high commissioner ambassador to exist. If you are not selling Trinidad and Tobago to the world or bringing direct investment to Trinidad, what's the point of you? Today, what's the point of Orville London in London this morning? What is it costing this country today? This is the conversation we have to have. Orville London needs to be fired as High Commissioner to London, and the man who appointed him fired as well.
I'm sure plenty Tobagonians will agree with you.
This is not just about him being a failure in Tobago, because I told Nylong Hippolyte when he was the member of parliament in 2013 on 91.1, he called into the show. I said, Nylong Hippolyte, you are the member of parliament for Lavantel West, and if you cared about your people, if you cared about the people you lead in, leave the PNM and marginalize that community. If you want to see people from those two corrupt parties trip over themselves coming to do things for you, marginalize it. Don't let the PNM think we have that thing. That's a safe seat. The foolishness here I want to talk on the TV. Black people that vote PNM, Indian people that vote UNC. It is that nonsense that has a joker, a failed member of parliament who was the Lavantel East member of parliament under Manning Fitzgerald Hines being the Lavantel West member of parliament under Keith Rowley. There are no lines of delivery. Nobody to say, under you we got water, under you we got jobs. You just mentioned jobs and you say they might have to be low paying. I want to tell you something. From garment stitching, they pay better than we pay in this country, packing dinner box in KFC and making sandwich for Subway. You could go to Levi's Jeans and bring them to Trinidad and just set up factories and tell them all we want is people stitching. All we want is people stitching. But people will be getting paid 12 and 15 US dollars an hour because they by law can't pay less. They can't pay less.
Well, look how I learned something.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? We could use the entire Labas, everything that starts from East Port of Spain, running all the way past Barataria and Sawa, all of that Labas should be moved. China and Japan built their recycling facilities, what used to be landfills, as islands off their coast. We could build that in a heartbeat. Go and see how much land Peak build. Go and do Peaks. Peaks buy a gas station, a little 2x4 gas station that 2 taxi pull up in it, nobody else can come. The pirogues used to come behind it, the sea used to be lapping at it. Peaks reclaim land nearly big like Monas. So we know we have the technology in Trinidad. All of Westmoreland is reclaimed land. All of it. So we could. And if you move the Labas, and again, this has to be the only country in the world where to leave the airport and go to its capital, you have to drive past its dump. And all of this is mismanagement. All of this is failure. PNM failure, UNC failure is failure. If you move the Labas from there and you built a massive commercial zone and you told your ambassadors and your high commissioners, you don't have to find the biggest company in the world.
But
find the fourth biggest.
Bring them.
Find the fifth biggest who want to compete. Because there are a lot of businesses in the world. All we ask is that it be labor intensive. Don't bring no automatic factory. Labor intensive. We will give you land free, natural gas free, internet free, electricity free, because all that we get in free.
Yeah.
The gas bubbling out the ground. You could put a natural gas generator in Laventille right there and generate free electricity for the people that coming out the ground free. And if you give people free, rent free, tax free, land free, all we want you to do is hire the 40,000 people inside of there and pay them well. How quickly will those people not get developed and their children not get serviced? Well, how quickly before international school and Maple Leaf and thing want to open branches in there? Because people who started off as a stitcher this year, next year as a supervisor, pulling down 20 US a month. You could imagine taking people who suffering now, who barely holding it together, and giving families that much hope and opportunity, what it will do for this country.
Change. Whole social aspect will change.
Picture this country only better. Picture this country first world. Singapore is half the size of China. They start off the same time with us. They are a developed first world nation. Why Hema Ramkissoon on CNC3 didn't care to ask about that? What is your party's policies that will, like a rising tide, lift all the boats, all of the suffering people in this country? Government come and government go, and Morvan, Beetham, Laventille and Silots stay the same. Nothing change. Manning walk through Laventille and Beetham with some criminals and gangsters and pretend that is leadership, trying to make excuse. I remember when he was talking about Gary Hunt and the $2 million flag, when the nation wanted to kick Manning out, and Hunt had tell them, all you don't know the price of national pride. $2 million is the value. And when he get fired, and Manning went in there and he admitted, well, he made a mistake, he made a mistake. Mr. Manning, when they shame that little black woman for the head of cauliflower and the pack of bread she thief, she make a mistake. When your sports minister conspired with others to corruptly rape the treasury of $2.1 million for a single flag, that is misbehavior in public office, a jailable offense.
That ain't no mistake.
Exactly.
Gary Hunt and everybody who was involved in that flag fiasco was to make a jail. And he should get down on his hands and knees every day and pray to all the gods, the old and the new, and thank Anya Ayangchi for that porn video, because she distract the country and make everybody forget Gary spent $2 million on a flag. But like Hema Ramkissoon and CNC3 with their 9 days bullshit that Eric Williams feed them, I, Philip Edward Alexander, I don't forget nothing. I don't forget nothing.
Memory like
and I'm waiting to debate those two mocking pretenders, those two icons of corruption, the PNM and the UNC. Send who you want. Call it out. The Progressive Empowerment Party, we're here, we're ready to represent the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Boy, yeah. That's what we talking about, bro.
Hail to the chief, hail to the chief. Akil, I wanted to ask you, in terms of the citizens, how are they accepting our message? How do they feel a sense of change? Are they getting the message that this country can be changed?
Well, I for the last few weeks especially, I have been shocked, because I've been talking to people and bracing myself for negativity, and it's not coming. So something changing, and people hearing and people seeing, and they opening their eyes. They no longer have their head in the sand.
Good.
Right? I have some family I've been talking with in Tobago, And yeah, and I might have labeled them as PNM, sorry to say, and I might have breaks from interacting, but I had to cancel that thought and eat my words, because they interested, they want change, and they hearing what the PEP is saying, and they believing in our policies, right?
Call them out to the rally. Call Trinidad.
Yeah, I calling everybody out. I calling all the people on off North Post Road. We have a area where the river passes, right? It leaves River Estate, crosses the North Post Road, and then passes through some houses and comes back out across the Diego Martin Main Road and goes into, like, head into Diamondville area. Now that area between the North Post Road and the Diego Martin Main Road where the river passes is not concreted. But before it is, heading to the hills is concreted, and after the main road is concreted. And I asked myself when I noticed this after the flooding last year, why was that area not concreted? If before could be concreted and after could be concreted, why that area passing through the left side of North Post Road, like heading to like the Bagatelle area, why that piece of drainage is not concreted? And it closes up because the banks keep falling in, and when the rains fall, that is what causing the flooding on the North Post Road when it rains heavy. In fact, it don't have to rain that long, 15 minutes heavy rain, and that road is flooded. I drove through, I did a video on it some time ago. Right now, I wanted to walk that river, go down the river and actually film it, because I can't understand why they neglected that area. Why these people have to go through this flooding every year when it's just a simple case of designating the size the drain you want to put and concrete in it. It's a question, and I would like it answered.
And why we not, as we on that, because when you talk about flooding, Diego Martin gets, I keep telling you this, Diego Martin gets more rain, just Diego Martin, than this entire country could consume. Diego Martin gets about 5 years worth of rain for the whole country. If we could just catch and hold that rain, and you just said about 90% of the system already is concrete drains, all along that run, that start up in North Post, that end in Westmoreland. Do you know that all along that run, in the riverbed, they could dig and drop in retention ponds that fall below the riverbed? So it's coming down and through sluice gates, falling one after the other, going down the road.
And store the water.
So by the time it reaches Westmoreland, rain falling, bucket are dropping Diego Martin, but it's dry down by Westmoreland because we've held 10 million gallons of water.
Exactly.
That with an express pipeline, simple, normal, basic hydraulics, trip, open. They've been doing it 2,000 years since Rome.
And we wouldn't have to import water from Caroni.
No brain and thing.
Yeah.
In St. Anne's.
They could actually, Tony, prefabricate. I mean, just go on YouTube. The world, I mean, success leaves clues, eh? They could prefabricate. They could use the plastics that we're trying to get rid of. They could use the plastics to make this. And they literally, in one day, dig the cavern, drop it in, cement it. That's it.
Yes.
Prefabricated. Going right down the line. So you don't need Diego Martin to flood ever again. You could store 10 million gallons of water, and Wassa don't have to come and kick down your gate and charge you for using your hose.
Boca have issues too with water, no? They have a little too much, so they have to empty it on the
lawn,
golf course.
on the lawn,
golf
yeah,
course.
No, but I said in San Fernando, and my father, I sat down there, watched the broadcast we did. I went by my folks to see what they thought of it. And when I said that there are people living in Maraval next door to the reservoir that don't get water, he laughed. But he said that's so blasted true. There are people in Trinidad and Tobago listening to me on the radio this morning. Cognitive dissonance is collapsing. We're giving them a kind of frequency that at some point they say, you blasted. I'm hearing you. What are we going to do to fix it? Tell me. The Trinidadians getting vexed. They're getting vexed.
But they have a right to, because you're seeing all the, you living next door to Awassa Reservoir and you can't have water in your pipe. People living next to the sea and still don't have water either.
Trinidadians getting vexed. And once again, your nonsense, like, well, they're using the grey water. Trinidad, if you don't know what grey water is, what they're trying to fool you and tell you is, in a house, all the water that passes through the pipe, not the toilet, that's sewage, but all the water that you even wash your hand, that water, they call that grey water. So any pipe water that you use already is grey water. They're trying to fool you and tell you that all that water them sprinkling day and night is grey water. How much hand they washing in Muka? Don't let them fool you. Then they tell you they're taking it out of the river. That river feeds the reservoir. That is the people of Maraval water. They're not entitled to that. In fact, now that I know that golf course is in such close proximity to the water in the river, I want them to test it for the chemicals that Mocha using to keep their lawn so green. All of this. But Rowley and Lara and the rest of them just be golfing up in Mocha. So when he go there to stunt, he can't play. He's a leader. He's not a leader. This is a stunt artist. We keep voting into office people who can't even pretend to be leaders. They have no vision, no plan, no clue. They cannot enunciate. I heard Rowley say they don't have enough land in this country for agriculture, and I wish I was in the audience. I'd raise my hand. I'd say, brother, in Germany, there are 40-story buildings. That is agriculture. If you don't know, don't be ashamed to say you don't know.
Exactly. That's it. You don't drive around the country. When you, from the time you leave Grand Bazaar and you head down on that side and you take any road off there, it's only land.
In some cases.
Push and razor grass. Yesterday, I tell people yesterday, and they vex, boy. They getting vexed that I'm telling them this. You're paying $30 for kale in Massey stores, and it costing $3 to grow and sell for profit in Trinidad, but farmers can't get land.
The problem with that is also, in some cases, they want the agricultural land for different purposes. I remember some years ago.
How much semiplex we got built?
Years ago.
How much strip mall we got built? West Mall, half the stores in West Mall closed down. How much more mall you go build?
No, but what's your billing mall?
To wash money. Right? But you're washing money billing mall.
But you're not billing inland revenue all over for people to make it easy for people to pay your bills or whatever.
That's why Granny had to dead in that bus. That's why Granny had to dead in that bus. She had to leave DB at 7 o'clock in the morning to catch the bus to come to town to do a simple land transaction that should have been available. You call San Fernando a city, but she can access a land transaction in the city that she is a burgess of.
And that's supposed to be so easy. A lotto booth, she should have been able to pay that in or online. She mightn't do it online.
When Michelle says it is deliberate incompetency, what she means is it is by design. It is set up that way so that the corrupt could benefit from it. So that the man who owned the building that in border inland revenue renting from in town, because I not their building. Manning take hundreds of millions of dollars and build buildings that we not using because our 1% or a contract mafia owner own the building that customs in. And when you check what customs paying for it, John Rahal bought a building on Queen Street for more money as the government, for more money than it was worth to break it down. The empty piece of land still there.
And they breaking down that building they had inland revenue in Spain, Independence Square. They break it down. Where inland revenue was before, they break it down.
This morning when I was coming in, I was thinking, as we're speaking about decentralization, it took me 3.5 hours to come up here from Cedros.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours.
I love Trinidad.
I love Trinidad. I love the progressive empowerment.
I love Trinidad.
Literally 3.5 hours. I left.
I doing nearly 500 miles, doing 3.5 hours to go from New York to Boston. We as a dot, you could spit from North Coast and hit South Coast. 3.5 hours. Madness.
I passed Chagonis and that was it. It was
Traffic.
just, and all I kept thinking of, I wasn't thinking of me, I was thinking, imagine doing this every day. Imagine your family life, how it suffers.
Exactly.
You know, I know a young man and he studied in Cedros and he did all his subjects and he did what society expects from him. And you know what time he leaves Cedros? 3 o'clock in the morning. And he comes home to Cedros at 7 in the evening every day.
what kind of life he could have.
Majority of the public servants in Trinidad live
Right.
beyond Grand Bazaar.
Yes.
Majority of the public servants.
So when we say these things, we must also be able to tell people the Progressive Empowerment Party says what cannot be decentralized because everything could. We live in a time, you mentioned it just now, Lemma, everything is online. Everything is in the cloud. Everything is available for the people who want an office to go to. You could set up 5 regional hubs. Northeast, Central, South Tobago, similar to the model that we're doing, so that people don't have to come all the way to Port of Spain. We're talking about taking all the government offices and all the government businesses out of Port of Spain. They have no business being there. The Port of Spain only job is to create traffic for Port of Spain. 90% of all the containers that come off the ships into the Port of Spain have to leave Port of Spain. So why they come in Port of Spain in the first place? If they're going Point Lisas and they're going up in the east, send them to Point Lisas. Why are we not building a hub? Why are we not building a shipping hub? Michelle alluded to dry docking. Why are we not building a shipping hub? I have to explain to people, when you ship a shipment of anything from Trinidad, it gets on about 5 different ships depending on where it's going. Shipping is a massive industry. It doesn't stop. It continues. When you own a ship and you are in shipping, your ship never stops until it's dead, you know. Until they have to repair it, and God forbid it need to repair, because half the time those ships sailing with mechanics on board and spare parts, fixing as they go. When you build a shipping ship, that ship, as you launch it, is to circle the globe continuously until it's dead. And how it works is simple as this: if you ship in a case of water from Trinidad to Australia, it leaves Trinidad, it goes to Miami. It comes off the ship in Miami and it goes on a next ship in Miami that go into the UK. Comes off the ship in UK and goes on a next ship that may be going to Africa to finally get to its destination in Australia. Because everybody knows when the shipping schedule is for each ship coming, and we see things written on shipping containers. Those are shipping lines, and those shipping lines can tell you if you want to ship something from Trinidad to anywhere in the world. They will tell you the path and the schedule, so you will know if you're shipping coconut water from Guyana and you want to ship it to Russia and you have to ship it in a reefer container. You know that it have a 6-month shelf life. You can't have 6 months at sea. You need to know how it's being handled, and that every port of call that they drop in at, a reefer need to plug in, and what those rates and charges are. All of that exists. And I'm saying that so people understand that if we were to, because of where we are between Northeast and South, North, Central and South America, the proximity we have to the Panama Canal, 95% of everything shipped in the world passes through the Panama Canal.
Correct.
The proximity we have, if we were one of those hubs that ships came, dropped off, so that ships going Arabia, stop here, ships going Africa, stop here, ships going America, every time they stop, we make money. Every time they stop. Plus, our companies can now supply them with food. They come while the ship offloading and reloading, because it's happening hours.
Yeah.
It's happening hours, literally hours. If you watch Singapore, we talk about Singapore all the time. A lot of people don't understand that Singapore have one of the largest ports in the world. Singapore is half the size of Trinidad and Tobago. Singapore has one of the largest ports in the world. They do documentaries there all the time. So if we wanted to learn about shipping and port and handling, just go Singapore. Hire some of their managers. That's what you need to do. Because they show you the way and the speed that they move at, and the ship is coming, and they have the offload boss and the unload boss, and they operate their crews, have different colored day glow vests like we use for CPEP. And when the ship pull up and everybody know and they expect it, and he docking by a certain amount of time, and every minute loss, if it is the ship fall, the shipping line pay the loss, and if it is the land fall, the port paying the loss. And that's how they operate, because ships don't stop shipping. And you have 2 hours and you've already scheduled all the containers that coming off, and the offload boss, his job is to make sure all of that come off and go where it's supposed to go, because what going Japan had to go to a different place than what going America. And the unload boss brings everything that's supposed to go as soon as he done his changeover, and the whole crew changes, and the unload boss loads it, and you load it on the ship in such a way that it is balanced. The ship team tells you the balance of the ship, what weight could go where, but you also loading containers on that ship based on where they offloading at the next port of call. It is all planned, and it happens within hours. And while that going on, they're pumping out the sewage, they reloading food, supplies. The whole crew could come off and leave, and a new crew come on board to take the ship and go. All that happens. And being a shipping hub, just that could replace oil and gas. Dubai. We talk about Dubai like it is one of the oil and gas people. Dubai main business is shipping. That's what Dubai does, Singapore does, shipping. We, Trinidad and Tobago, because we outside the hurricane belt, and we can't say this enough, shipping, dry docking, marine craft storage, that alone could replace oil and gas. Our prime minister is a fool. He doesn't know, and I am certain now, he doesn't know that he doesn't know. He speaks with a firm conviction of a clueless fool, but he does it with such authority.
Sure, he don't know.
That he is dumbing the people that listening to him. He's killing their brain cells. People walk away from a PNM meeting less informed than
feeling good.
No, but they're happy, but they leave there less informed with less knowledge or wrong side knowledge.
No, not really. And the people are left angry.
But for how long? It's that 9-day cycle. In Labre, you know, I pass there almost every day, and you're just watching a constituency go down the drain. When you think it can't get worse, it gets worse. When you go in the back, and the people are slowly in denial, as though this is the norm. This is what should be accepted. You look at Point Fortin. Now we have a dead industry. There's no more Trinmar. The majority of the young men down there work at Trinmar. It no longer exists. It's heritage now. And they've taken back a few hand select of people. What are people? So now everybody, Mish, we don't have a job. Where can I find a job? These are the questions that we need to be asking. Is our government properly representing us? Is your MP properly represented? What was the plan for these people? If you were a plant operator, you're not going to do construction in Labre. That's how they're selling it now. The government is saying, oh, they're building this, they're going to do this shit. Because you're not going to do construction at 57 years old.
You on your April and go and weld.
You're not going
to 1%, sell burgers and fries.
They don't care about you.
And even that is a challenge, because I walked into Dairy Queen for the first time in my life on Independence Square, and a guy walked in and talked to one of the guys about, like, he applied for a job and saying, cool, they didn't look at the application yet, so how long am I going to wait? And then he walked out. I felt sorry for him because the look on his face looks like, what am I going to do?
Well, it's desperation at this point. I mean, yesterday there was a murder, and I don't know if you saw it on TV. Two friends got into a squabble, and it was $100. And when you heard the brother speak, you know what he said? He said, this is the state this country has reached. For $100. And he said, for $100, we would never have fought for. He said, but clearly, who was fighting, go and watch that. If you hear that man explain that, he said, this is where Trinidad has reached. We're desperate for $100.
But we reached there already when you saw women now shoplifting a woman was shoplifting salt. And
them getting locked up.
Yeah.
And men who thieving billions and
not
millions.
getting locked up. And people, I have to call it victim shaming, because you're shaming them, and then you see in the comments, well, they could have just asked for somebody to give them money. But exactly, who giving them the money? If you come and you ask somebody.
Yeah, but people have pride too. I mean, to do that, for some people it's very hard, but they have no choice.
Yes, some people
they have no choice.
And you hear
628-9595, 628-3131. Last couple of minutes, we have Akil Camp, Lima McLeod Wilkinson, Michelle Davis, Janice Lemon Cricky, Tolly Tifu. We don't have enough headphones. Janice, we don't have enough headphones.
Well, let's try and see, because I'm hoping that the sound will come through the phone and everybody will be able to hear.
628-9595, 628-3131. Of course, they lit up. Just let me get this headphone on and plugged in. You know they want to start.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, you're plugged in, Janice. Hello, good morning. Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning. My name is, I'm a first-time caller, right? I want to draw a little reference to something. When Patrick Manning was building the church, and the people of Trinidad kicked up against it. Didn't he call election right away just to throw it off?
That's not the only reason he did it. Rowley and Camille Robinson Regis and the balance of them went to some meeting in Barbados and they were scheming against him, and the 1% call him down in Westmoreland and fire him. This is a broken and corrupt country, and you all need to know what is really going on in Trinidad and Tobago for us to be able to fix it.
I listen to I listen to the program every day. I'm a young person. I'm a very young person, and I listen to your program. You all have a very political point and brings it across to the nation. I appreciate that, and I realize that. You know, it widens my horizons on certain things and certain issues, and I appreciate that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for saying that. Yeah? Okay, so they're hearing the callers now, Satish. So that was a test, and it worked. So those of you who are on the live, who are hearing the callers on the live, unfortunately, we have so many people plugging that. We have so many people in the studio, we don't have enough headphones for that. Tony, you could operate the...
But
if we could leave on that way. See, you can have the mic and that on at the same time, so even that don't work. We take a couple more. 628-9595, 628-3131. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Next one. 628-9595, 628-3131. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you very well, not too good. But anyways, what I want to tell you is that I am not from any of the marginal areas. In 2010, I voted to the UNC. 2015, I voted the PNM. And in 2020, I could vote for the PEP. However, what I need some clarification on is that any politician could come on the radio and say what they're going to do. And I like your plans. What I need to know is how you plan on implementing that with the limited resources we have right now.
Tell me, give me a specific question, I'll give you a specific answer. Oh, is he gone? All right, I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something. The welfare of all the citizens is a function, purpose, and reason for government. Income and expenditure is how you balance a budget. You must have a plan, Janice, just now, because I want to answer the people who just heard this question ask how we plan to implement. For those who didn't hear, he just asked how we plan to implement the things that we propose. First of all, we believe that at least 50% of the budget is theft, cost overruns, artificially inflated or unnecessary projects. And when we address those things, we will save a lot of money that could be redirected to the proper management of the country. All the issues that we raise are self-liquidating. They exist within our budget. Our public health 41 constituency 24/7 accident and emergency centers will actually cost less to build and operate than the $5 billion that we spend right now on the failed madness that is public health. Our 200 purpose-built schools that deal with the 200,000 children in school at any given time will cost less to operate than the $5 billion we spend on that madness right now. Securing the nation's borders is repurposing existing oil barges that are rotting in the sea right now. $50 million and they're up and running. 6 of them, $300 million. That will save us at least half the $9 billion we're spending paying police and army to run down gun and drugs, because all we need to do is stop them out at sea. That is the purpose of the Maritime Security Wall. An internal affairs unit will purge the police service of the corrupt and rogue elements, bringing real law enforcement to the country for the first time. Putting a clock on the courts will save us money, because cases not supposed to run 25 and 30 years. This is a country where we just finalized a case where a man broke into Stevens and Johnson's 25 years ago. Just keeping that case on the docket cost us millions of dollars. We spent $150 million trying to prosecute Ish and Steve. 22 years now. The country does not work because it's deliberately set up to fail. And we're going to undo all of that. All those special purpose companies, we're going to shut them down and return the tenders process to a robust and transparent model, so that you will know what we're buying and you'll know why. Gone are the days where we're just buying thousands of cars for the police service to run through like pickles and chips. It is time for accountability and feasibility. They set up a vehicle maintenance company, but they're still auctioning broken cars that are 2 years old because the vehicle maintenance company not doing its job. Trinidad and Tobago all of you who are listening to me have basic common sense. And that basic common sense is what we are going to apply to solve the problems. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, sir, I'm calling from New York.
How you going, sir?
I'm a diehard PEP listener. Hello?
Yes, we're listening,
we listen to you.
Can't interrupt
Yes,
you.
sir.
Go on.
I'm calling on two points there. The one with WASA and the one with the media. The one with WASA, right? Anytime WASA lock off the water, the line that gets corroded, and that's what has caused the water to come brown. Because corrosion has caused the line, the metal line to get rusted, and that's going to cause the water to come brown. And by locking off the water, it's causing WASA more money.
Caller, I'm really, really sorry for interrupting you as you're going, because you're giving us some good information. However, I am in a studio with a lot of people and they're not hearing you because we don't have enough headphones to go around. So I apologize for that. So you raise the issue that by locking off water, they're encouraging corrosion in the pipes, and that is why the water coming out brown. What is the second thing you want to add?
The media, the government, let's pay the media to give the lies to the public.
Thank you for that, my friend. Thanks a lot for your call from New York City. We appreciate it greatly that the government, and I know it's through their advertising, because the government, I remember, the government would spend hundreds of millions of dollars on media for advertising that we don't need. When you put a full page ad for a public release from WASA in the papers, the same thing could have been done 4 column inches. People will find it. Social media is for free, yeah? Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hello.
Morning, caller.
That call not happening. Yeah? Take one more, Janice. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, caller. How you good?
Morning, good. Sir, is that Michelle McConnell that you had in the speaking earlier?
Michelle McConnell? Yes.
Yes. We have a crack shot there, man.
She is a crack shot, of course.
Sunday.
I thought you coming to Pepsi because we take calls and always be doing this Pepsi, my ladies. You know. I'm telling all there, we're getting very defensive now.
No. I was in a class with her at Lockjack. She's a very knowledgeable, very great manager. That's a great.
So she's not hearing you, but what's your name?
But
you
that
give your name
point
on
aside, the question I have is how do you intend to get around the bureaucracy and what you can PSA? Because all the things you say is sounding lovely, you know.
Okay,
but
all right. So
is that different? That's why
no, you don't have to put the qualifier. You don't put
around what is
caller
the drag foot that will go on and the bureaucracy and the idiot that
yes, all right. You don't have to qualify it. You don't have to qualify it. We will address it from this point of view. The bureaucracy, you're asking how we plan to get around the bureaucracy by undoing and redoing.
So just now, I'm not hearing properly, but listen, okay?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Our policy is to undo and redo Trinidad and Tobago, and it's simply put that way. That the bureaucracy exists by deliberate design. It is written into law. By a law, we will rewrite laws.
Hang up. Try your call again.
To pull that.
If you need assistance,
yeah, just turn it off. He's gone. Yeah, don't answer no more. We're not taking any more calls. All right, Janice have no headphones either, so she's flying blind, and we'll crash into a mountain if we continue.
Yeah, can we pass it close to them trees?
Yeah, to the person who just called to say Michelle is a crack shot at what she does, she is, and I know.
Yeah.
I know the team that we have. Hema didn't recognize that was what was on her show. Hema's accustomed to dealing with empty vessels, all hat and no cowboy. If she had even an inkling of who Michelle Davis was, she'd have put her on the spot. I wish if she was on the other side with me, I put Michelle on the spot this morning.
Exactly. But the point is that these so-called journalists, they are not doing the research which is necessary.
Which was evident also.
But by them trying to beat the nation into a frenzy, they must get vexed with Philip. When Philip say, if you put lipstick on a pig, you can't change its natural behavior. People say, but the man a lie. Vex if you vex.
Oh,
but the man a lie. She are not following. She had nobody to get up in outrage. And I look at the Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago put a release against me. They have 12 members and they get 10 shares. 2 people in MAT didn't agree with them. You don't believe your own nonsense. You don't believe your own foolishness. It is time. It is way past time for us to stop this. And Trinidadians seeing that. Trinidadians realizing and they wake up to the fact this ain't making no sense anymore. We have about 10 more minutes or less because chairs will show up here for ads. Yeah. So we're going to bring this to a close. Lima, in your capacity, deputy political leader, and you are a member of Akil's team in the north. This is I feel like kind of Game of Thrones. I was channeling a Game of Thrones about the team from the north. Yeah. Right? So Akil, are you the king in the north?
King of the north.
Akil is the king in the north. Alright, so
Michelle is queen of South.
Michelle is queen of the South and king of the North.
There's a show called Queen of the South, huh? There's a show.
And I'm the captain of a shipwreck.
Minus the drugs. Queen of the South. Minus the drugs.
Lemma, McLeod Wilkinson, parting words. What? I mean, we have the PEP market and the opening of the North. Yeah, so.
Okay, we just want to encourage everybody to get informed, get knowledgeable, read our policies. If you don't know or you have questions, message anybody to ask. We are looking for volunteers, so if you have time and you want to volunteer in any way, it doesn't have to be anything big. And if you want to give donations, we always welcome donations. We have merchandise for sale. We need people to come with us to do walkabouts. So if you could volunteer your time, effort, snacks, food, anything, we welcome to anything.
If snacks and food will be there, let me know, because you know.
Right? So if you want to come out, our meetings, we have public meetings on Saturdays at Stanmore Avenue.
This Saturday at noon, we're at Stanmore and at Manahambre, 137 Manahambre Road. We have 2 public meetings this Saturday. If you're in the north, whatever is closer for you from wherever you're coming, but on the 23rd when we open the north office in Barataria, they will be having meetings as well. We'll be having 3 public meetings. Our meeting is at headquarters, Stanmore Avenue, for those who want to come there. We have a meeting at 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine. That is where the South team meets. We are opening the North Hub on the 23rd of March, and we're opening a Rima, Tampona Road right after. Michelle, closing parting words?
My closing remarks are Trinidad and Tobago, quoting Margaret Thatcher. When they cannot get you on your policies, your governance, they attack your character. And that is what the Progressive Empowerment Party is going through. They're attacking our character, but we represent real change. We represent policies that are going to work to fix this nation. Come and join the movement. Come and see what we are about. Thank you.
Akil Camps, closing comments.
What I want to say, the people need to realize that our governments have not had the well-being of the citizens at heart. And it's time to put a government that cares into office to right the wrongs that have been inflicted on us. It is time for a government that unites the country. One people under one flag. It's time for the PEP.
Every one of them getting better. Tony on the spot.
Yeah.
Let me see you.
Yeah,
Let me see you.
Watch me.
You ought to come good, eh?
I can't
Watch
come
me.
good, but
you ought to come good, eh?
You hear this man drop that day, boy.
Following you is the hostess with the mostess, Janice. So come good. She's a motivational speaker.
Oh, yeah.
So you know.
No, but it's real. It's real. But Trinidad and Tobago, you have heard for yourself. You're hearing the members. Again, Philip said this is not a one-man show. It's a collective. It's a collective of the citizens. It's a collective of the people. We seeking the best interest of the people. End of story. It's not rocket science. You don't need to have no bachelors and masters. We just looking for common sense. Simple thing.
Thanks a lot for that, deputy political leader, my wingman, the man that they say too sexy for TV, so they put him on radio. Janice Lemon Picky, Chief Whip, PRO of the Progressive Empowerment Party. Your closing comments.
Trinidad and Tobago, we have to start taking control of our destiny. We have to open our minds to what is really going on in Trinidad and Tobago. We have to start standing up and saying enough is enough. Yesterday I had to tell a girl in B-Mobile, one of the B-Mobile stores, listen, she said, can I have your card? I said, please. You know, basic customer service, we have to start taking note of these things. We hope and we look forward to seeing you all coming at our various locations in St. Madeleine and Stanmore Avenue in Port of Spain. Take care, and we'll see you guys on
Monday.
Well,
we there Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, I wanna send out a plea here for the WASA workers. We in the country, we need you all to step up. We need you all to play your part. Do what you're supposed to do. Remember, anytime somebody do have water in their taps, it affects them badly. And put yourself in their position. Do your best. Do your job. Help us be better. Thank you.
I'm sorry for that. That was Akil Camps. He is the king in the north. He's coordinating and organizing the opening of the North Hub, which is happening on the 23rd of March. Just to reiterate, we're having the PEP market on the 23rd of February. If you're a vendor, sole trader, small business person, if you just want to get into business and buy and sell, if you know people who are in any kind of trading and would like to come and be a part, it's $300 a table for non-members, $200 if you're a member, apparently $150 if you know Janice. And that is on the 20th of February. Lima, Felicia, Satish, the crew, they're taking all registration. You could email us at peptrinbago@gmail.com. You could call us on 3474-PEP. You have Tony's number, 488-5012.
688-4012.
688. There was some kind of dyslexia. I don't know. Anyway, listen, you're seeing the team. You're hearing. You met some of the firebrands from South. On the 23rd of March, you're going to meet their number in the north. Trinidad and Tobago, the Progressive Empowerment Party, is doing all the right and needful things. You have a responsibility. I understand what it is like to be struck dumb by the madness that has passed for governance. But we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we have the ability to stand together as one people, as Akil said, stand together as one people under one flag. Tony say, red, white, black or green, and every shade in between. Forget this nonsense game I want to tell you about Indian had a vote UNC and black people had a vote PNM. That never worked for neither side. It is time to forget that and vote those two political cancers into the sea. Trinidad and Tobago needs a revolution of hearts and minds. We need to wake up to the needs and the facts that the government is supposed to serve the welfare of all the people. And if we stand together as one people under one flag, we could get this done. We meet this Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue and 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine. Looking forward to see you there. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.